Time '04 came around, and we're in the first year of this war. Bush had to go. I mean, there was just no messing around.
Well,
at this point.
let's go back to the time when you felt so deeply about this. Actually, before 2004. Let's go to 2003. Let's go to that night in March at the Oscars.
Five days into the war.
And the Oscar goes to Bowling for Columbine, Michael Moore and Michael Donovan.
On behalf of our producers, Kathleen Glynn and Michael Donovan from Canada, I'd like to thank the Academy for this. I've invited my fellow documentary nominees on the stage with us, and we would like to, they are here in solidarity with me because we like nonfiction. We like nonfiction, and we live in fictitious times. We live in the time where we have fictitious election results that elects a fictitious president. We live in a time where we have a man sending us to war for fictitious reasons, whether it's the fictition of duct tape or the fictitious of orange alerts. We are against this war, Mr. Bush. Shame on you, Mr. Bush. Shame on you. And anytime you've got the Pope and the 66 against you, your time is up. Thank you very much.
And the music swelled. Michael Moore, 5 days into the Iraq War, winning the Academy Award for Bowling for Columbine. Michael, when I was coming up this morning, I was in the elevator with a man, and there was another man, and then someone hit a button, but that one of those men did not get off, and he's coming up to our floor, and I'm thinking, I wonder who he is. And then I saw the Secret Service-like earpiece, and that relates to what happened after this. Talk about your life after getting the Academy Award.
Well, starting backstage where people were wanting to punch me for what I said, it escalated over a series of months, from threats to attempted assaults to actual physical assaults, to where I literally couldn't walk down the street without somebody trying to hit me, punch me. One guy in Fort Lauderdale took the lid off his coffee and threw it in my face. And I think one time I was here, actually, when you opened your studios, and I told some of those stories for the very first time to you. When was this? About a year or so ago. And I've been told not to speak about this stuff, especially because some of this, which led all the way up to somebody planning to blow up our house, and who was caught with the bomb-making materials and everything because his AK-47 accidentally went off. And the police then discovered that he was intending to kill me and a number of other liberals. When I told those stories on your show that night, not knowing actually, I thought it was just we have an opening reception here for your studio. I didn't realize it was going to be on the air like a few days later, and I'm thinking, oh my God. But then people...
We record school board meetings. We record receptions.
I get that, yes. If you enter here, it shall be broadcast. But you know what happened was that the response I got from people, it was like, oh, you know what, maybe I should tell these stories. And it really inspired me to sort of start the book by laying out the sort of 7 years of what I've had to live under and what I've had to live with. And you mentioned the guy in the elevator. At a certain point there in '03 and '04, the studio at the time, who was releasing Fahrenheit 9/11, had to hire ex-Navy SEALs and Army Rangers to protect me. It was just a crazy, horrible way to have to live. To this day, when I appear in public, or if you know, there has to be this kind of security in the places I go to speak. I'll almost demand it, because every time they announce if Michael Moore's coming, they get those phone calls. So it's not the way anybody would want to live.
What do they say? There's many death threats against
yes,
President Bush as against you.
Yes, the person who's hired by the administration to consult with the Secret Service said that there's George W. Bush and then there's you in terms of number of actual threats. And there was a file of over 400 people that actually made or had tried to act upon these threats with me. So it's a lousy way to have to live. I don't like it, but I don't stop what I'm doing because of it, because then the terrorists win, right?
Well, we have to end right here, but we're going to do part 2 after. We're going to put it online at democracynow.org. Michael Moore is going to be in New York at St. Mark's Bookstore, hoping to save it on Thursday night, and then on to Washington. We'll talk about that in a minute. His new book is Here